What'd you say, Kenny?
You're good to go now. I'm recording.
All right, sounds good. Let's see here. Gonna pull it up on my phone. All right, do you guys have the papers out in front of you or the file? That would definitely be helpful. If anything, you can. Are you guys all on your phones or are you on your laptops?
My phone.
I'm on my phone.
Phone, Charles. Okay, so if you look in the group chat that I sent the workout to, you can just scroll back and open it on there and just follow along on your phone. Dale, you can just, you can just look on your phone and just say yes or no or whatever that may be. Or if you can just hold all your questions till later. And then, actually, that's kind of hard. You can't watch the film. Just follow along. Okay. Yeah, just kind of watch and then you can review it. I would review it like a little bit right after, and I'll probably expect you to not remember much, and you can just call me or something later at some point.
What chat was that sent to?
It was in our men's beach chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go over a warm up and then some mobility. Then we'll go through the actual workout. So there's 3 days. I'm gonna try to get through it quick because it takes a little while, and then I'll show you the cool down stretch. And I'll talk a little bit about everything so we have an idea of what's going on. So it's early off season for us right now, and we normally wouldn't be doing anything at this point, but we are just so we can get you guys to stay active and do some stuff and kind of get ready early on, because a lot of the things for this training block is going to set us up for lifts and stuff later on. So it's kind of nice to do it now, so when we do get to school and whatnot, we won't spend too much time on this like early some of the early movements here. So, and it's not like the most exciting stuff, but it's simple. It's tough and difficult if certain muscles that I'm trying to attack on you guys are weak. So that's the point we're doing it. So we're gonna try to build everything from the ground up. So it's super important that we do that. Just so when season comes around, when we practice a ton and travel and play, we're gonna try to get some far matches and whatnot. It's gonna be rough if we're all kind of injured and lingering around. So really basic stuff now. These can all be done body weight. There's some things where you're gonna need weight, but if you don't have dumbbells, I kind of took into account that we won't have a ton of things. So things, if you're like gonna press or pull, you're just gonna grab a backpack or a duffel bag and you just fill it up with, I don't know, textbooks or something heavy. But that's really it. You won't need bands for this one. Hopefully you can try to purchase some, or we can figure it out on our end to maybe get some more and then drop it off. We don't know yet. So we're gonna go with the warm-ups. Warm-ups are always gonna be pretty similar for actual practice. So I'm gonna run us through all of it every time. And we're gonna use like a ramp method. So ramp, R-A-M-P. I mean, it basically R stands for raising the heart rate. A stands for activating your muscles. And then M stands for mobilizing, so mobilizing the joints. And then P is potentiate, so more like power performance. So imagine ramp, we're running around, we're jogging, getting heart rate up. Activation, do different exercises to get our muscles firing. M, we start doing mobility, because mobility and flexibility are 2 different things. And then P could typically look like a sprint, some split squat jumps, some side shuffles, some sort of like power jumps. So, and then that's how we get our body kind of primed and ready to perform. So that's really the end piece, pretty much firing up our nervous system. And then, so that's kind of all you want to check mark for all of your warm-ups. So now we're gonna kind of go through this. If you look at the first one, I put in the blue fonts of like how long or how far you should do it for. So 3 to 5 minutes, increasing the heart rate. That's gonna be your choice of how you do it at home. So jogging, jump rope, jumping jacks, whatever that may be, nice and easy. And then the next one there, just find 10 to 15 yards around you. So this is what we typically do in our practices. So you can see walking quad stretch and then into butt kicks. So they're both going to be stretching the quads, but we're progressing it, right? So you're doing walking quad stretch. So you're kind of steadily getting to stretch and relaxing, because a lot of times if you go straight into butt kicks, going straight into high knees, or let's say Frankensteins or straight leg kicks, that's actually pretty harmful for the muscles because you're not really warm. You're just kind of stretching it right off the bat, and that's going to stress it out, right? It's not going to like that. So 10 to 15 yards, you're going to go walking quad stretch or flamingo stretch, like people say. You'll turn around to go back doing butt kicks. Next one, walking heel scoops, right? Do you guys know what that is? Thumbs up for me. Yep. And then you'll turn around and go straight leg kicks back or straight leg marches. Then you're going to go walking knee hugs, and then you go high knees back, right? So you kind of get the pattern of that right there. During our practices, it would be we'll get into a side lunge stretch, there and back, and then we would go shuffles. Okay, so it's kind of in that order. I kept it sweet and simple so you can do it at home. Now, next one, we're actually getting into mobility now. So half kneeling hip series. So I put 3 to 5 pulses each. That means in each position, and you can see that there's 4 parts. So part 1, we're here. So half kneeling position, just normal, like most people have seen. You're gonna make sure, so what's gonna happen is we always tell everybody, your hips are like a bucket of water, right? So a lot of our national team athletes we actually like to tuck our shirts in when we work out so we can see this waistline. So what happens in the USA gym is that we get everybody to learn how to essentially extend the hips, round the hips. So sometimes our warm-ups are even this. It sounds silly, but it's super important because this is like a bucket of water. If your back is extended, right, then water spills forward, and we don't want that. So if you go in your squats and your back is extended, it's a lot of pressure there. You're gonna hurt your back eventually. If you try to fix it but do too much and compensate, then you round too much. Water spills behind, go into a squat, you don't want that. So we always make sure we set ourselves a bit, we make sure it's completely flat, and then we go through our movement, right, to make sure it's flat the entire time. So that's really important for almost every lift you do, to be honest. Okay, so now go back to mobility, half kneeling hip series. For this, to get the most out of this stretch, it's not leaning into it and extending the back. You're just gonna tuck your hip under. You can round your back a little bit. And even this alone, I already have a deep stretch here, okay? Then I'm gonna pulse back and forth. See how I'm getting my hip through, but keeping my back flat. Go about 3 to 5 pulses there. Thumbs up for me if that makes sense. Well, so that's the first part. Second part, you bring your leg out, push, point it directly to your side. You're just gonna rock back and forth here. You should feel stretch in this part. Okay. Next one, you just put the legs straight, hands down, right? And you're just gonna sit back and forth. You're still getting a stretch on the inner thigh. That's the third part. Last part, you cross this diagonally behind, right? So like a pigeon stretch, but diagonally behind you, and you rock back and forth there. This is gonna get the glutes right here. Okay, rock 3 to 5 times, and you get back up. Start off on this side. Position 1, 2, 3, right, and 4. So thumbs up for me if that's good. We're going a bit fast. Awesome. So we're getting all angles of the hips there. Half kneeling ankle dorsiflexion. So it's going to be ankle mobility. Dorsiflexion means this movement right here. So making this angle small of the ankle. So what happens is a lot of people and a lot of defenders and some of the best jumpers in the world, they have really good ankle mobility because they can load and spring out of the ankle. I mean, that's the last part in contact with the ground, right? So you want to be able to spring into it and get out of it quick. So people that don't really have good ankle mobility, you can tell they're not very athletic when they move around. And also if you go into your squats, people with bad ankle mobility looks like this, which you've probably seen or it might be you. So some of the pretty good ankle mobility, your knee can travel forward and this can close off pretty well, right? And you can sit nice and tall, deep down. Most people with bad ankle mobility, they would be pretty vertical. And as they go down, they can't do any more and they start rounding their back. They sit really flat, right? Or they can't go as low and they have to come up from here. So thumbs up if you've probably seen people like that before. Yep, Charles, nice. Okay, so, but some people, they might not have that much ankle mobility just because of the way they are, the way their body's built. An example, I had a guy who played on our national team, and he played at UCI as well a couple years ago. Tucker Pikula. He has like a 47-inch vertical. It's crazy. But his ankle mobility was like nothing. I tried getting on his back and pushing him. We tried like pushing him against the wall. Like his ankle would not move. So he was a rare case, but everyone else I've seen their ankle mobility get better, right? So, and especially gonna help us in the sand as well. So you're basically gonna get down, half kneeling position here, and you're gonna have your hands on your knees. You're gonna push as far as you possibly can. If you need, you can keep your hand here. The goal is not to let the knee heel off the ground, okay? Because if you let the heel off the ground, you're not challenging anything, okay? So you can push down, you can rock forward, come back, rock forward. Really working through this entire range here. You can go to the outs. You can go to the outside. You can go to the inside, right? Kind of just working through there. However many pulses you want, right? Maybe 6 to 8 to 10, up to you, and then you'll switch sides. Okay, so thumb up there. Nice. Quadruped cat camel. You're being your hands and knees. Hands have to be under the shoulders. Knees have to be under the hips. Ankles dorsiflex, so your toes are down. And you're gonna work through your entire back. So a lot of people just go through their upper back right here, but we want everybody to basically go from the hip all the way to your neck. Okay, so I've done a video on this before on Instagram. Maybe you've seen it, but you would go from here and you would start with the hips, low back, upper, neck, same thing through, hips, low back, upper, neck, hips, low back, upper, and neck. So it's gonna travel back and forth. There and back would count as one. Okay. Some people might have difficulty with this. Like if you have, honestly, if you have pretty bad posture, then it's gonna feel stiff going through the whole thing. So do as best as you can. If you need help with it, go ahead and contact me on that. Thumbs up if we're good for that one. Okay, so that's kind of a first part of some T-spine mobility. So that's super important for ball players. So your T-spine is your thoracic spine. So if you take your body and like this and you cut it in half, this upper part is your T-spine, your thoracic spine, and it's meant to rotate, flex and extend, and laterally flex. Okay, your low back's not meant to do that. So that's why when people have bad hitting mechanics, or especially when people arch their back when they go and hit, they start having back pain, because your low back's not meant to extend, rotate, or laterally flex. It's only meant to stabilize and keep you safe, right? That's why it's so stiff. But your upper back is meant to do all those things. So when you guys look at really good hitting mechanics, a really good example that everybody knows would be like Matt Anderson, right? He's super tall, he rotates, and he looks like picture perfect. So, and that's something we would spend a long time on with all of our athletes up there, men's and women's. And they take pride in that because we need them to play long term. Okay, so that's the first part. The cat camels will help with flexion extension. If you don't do these movements typically throughout your lifetime, it gets stiff naturally. And that's why some older people, they can't really like turn around unless they rotate their whole body and look at you. Or they can't reach down and flex over and grab things, okay? So we don't want to lose that mobility. Second one now, sideline T-spine rotation. Basically gonna lay on your side, knees together, facing forward the entire time, hands together. He's gonna relax. Now you're gonna work on rotation, right? So you're gonna open up the whole way. Shoulders in the back of this hand touches the ground, right? Come right back. You have to make sure this knee doesn't open up with it. Otherwise, we're not really disassociating shoulders and hips, right? Which is important. So open up, come back. Open up, come back. Okay. Some people find difficulty even touching the ground sometimes. Okay. So figure
Do you want
where
that
you're at.
bottom leg on the ground?
Yeah, so you're gonna keep everything down.
Okay.
Some people, if they have a foam roller, it'd be good to keep it right here in the middle, in between your knees, just to keep your hips level. I can explain that a little bit next time, but some people do keep something between their legs. But other than that, yeah, open up, boom, right? And you can tell if you rotate a little bit wherever, you can tell that your mobility needs to get a little bit better, right? So for me, I probably come off the ground a little bit, right? So it just tells me that it's pretty good, but it's not far off from perfect. Okay, then you would roll over, and then you do the other side. Okay, so that one's really important for hitting mechanics. So thumb up if we're good there. Nice. Where is it at? Oh, we skipped tall kneeling, T-spine lateral flexion. So tall kneeling means I'm down on both knees. So imagine I'm there. And then T-spine lateral flexion pretty much is here. You can get your hands overhead like this. You can have it behind your head. It doesn't matter to me. But what's going to happen is you're just going to rotate. Try to get as much flexion out of this without leaning your low back. So just a small crunch. You can feel your rib cage actually open up. Like every time I do this, my rib cage kind of cracks one by one because it's opening up. You can think about deep breathing into the rib cage, try to expand it and close it. So that can create more mobility as well. And you just kind of work through it. So boom, big breath, breathe out, switch sides. This is especially important actually for beach athletes, especially if you're going to be a blocker. I think a lot of our teams might be split blocking because everyone's kind of tall this year compared to last year, and you're all kind of the same height. But because what's going to happen is on a very basic level, you've been taught, boom, I'm going to take line, or step over, I'm going to take angle. So a little quick thing here. So basically with all the practices, I'm taking Kenny and I are emerging out and exchanging ideas. But I'm taking a lot of the stuff we're doing with all of like our national team. So things we're doing with Phil Dahlhauser, April and Alex, whatever, right? So we're pretty much teaching blocking the weight internationally that all the countries use. So basically dive blocking, leveraging, delay blocking, meaning there are going to be times that you're going to set up in front of them, but you actually come across and we're going to dive into it, or we're going to load, jump one way and dive back, right? Or load and then dive back. So it's really important that we have ranges to go through here. Learning how to set up that game strategy with your teammate, whoever, is a whole different story, because you can imagine, right, how confusing that's going to get. So there's different hand signals for it. And then when you and your partner are in fine tune, so imagine how difficult as a hitter it is. Like if you're going up to hit and your blocker is sending it wherever they are and then they fake and dive back in, then the person in the back is learning. We're going to teach them too how to fake in the back, in the sand too, as they're defending. So they fake one way, go the other. The blockers fake and go the opposite. So now we covered both parts of the court, right? So those are huge things. So we want to make sure mobility and movement is super important, right? Because skill can only go so far as you're learning. Okay, standing shoulder CARS. CARS just stands for controlled articular rotations. You don't have to know that, but just know the exercise. So you're gonna think about standing up, working through shoulder mobility. You're gonna have a fist, keep it extremely tight. Think about going in a big arm circle backwards, but we're gonna think about not rotating or extending, right? Shoulder mobility, hitting mechanics, we need to work on this. So fist tight, abs tight, setting the hips so we're stacked, and you'll feel everything tense up, right? Once you get through a lot of the strength and conditioning with me, you'll start to feel your abs turn on even when you drive and do random things, because you're gonna learn how to turn on these bad boys. Okay, so tighten up. You're gonna go in a giant circle, keep it as close as you can to the body, going around. And you can hear I'm kind of grimacing because it's tough, right? So what's gonna happen is you're gonna go as big as you can, keep it close without rotating. Come back. Some people can only get to here. They don't have a whole lot of mobility, so they can't even get overhead, okay? And overhead, we're gonna think about side view here. You wanna be able to go here, making your way back. Some people do this, and they can't get as high to extend to help get there, all right? We don't want that. So how you can challenge too is you can go next to a wall. So imagine this border of my screen is my wall, and I would go to it, and I would go, how do I start? Okay, and I would go like this, and see how my fist goes outside the screen? So imagine like my hand is running into the wall. I'm way too close. So I need to get a little bit further. And I would go until I don't touch anymore, right? So you can get a little close where you just kind of graze it, that's fine. But that wall can help you too, help build range through there. Okay, standing, alternating internal and external rotation. So scapular control. So your shoulder blade, if I turned around and I had like my shirt off, it would look like a triangle, right? Like an upside down triangle. So that scap actually moves about 10 to 12 different directions, and we lose that ability. Okay, so common theme, If I don't move, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose mobility in my joints. So that scap has to be able to move around. So it can go up, rotate, scoop under. So how people a lot of times tear their scap muscles or something in their rotator cuff is because it can't move that well. Like they've sat for so long like this at home, studying, playing games, whatever. Then they go and play, and then it gets all jacked up because as that thing moves around, certain muscles have to turn on and off, right? So let's say my shoulder blade, when I go up and swing through, right, it has to move outside of my body, away and around, right, to follow. So you can see this right here. Some people can't do that, and they have a dysfunction, which is not good. So what's going to happen is if it's moving out that way, right, and the muscles in your body knows, okay, this person doesn't have range, and it's really stressful for me to swing. If that muscle can't really hold on anymore, at some point it's going to say, all right, man, I'm just going to let go. And that's how they tear. Okay, you have to listen to your body, listen how it feels. If it feels like you should stop playing, but you're not playing, or you haven't fixed something back there, and it's going to cause an injury and basically have you sit out, right? Your body's going to choose a day for you to pretty much sit out if you don't listen to it. Okay, so for this one specifically, hands out to the side. You can have fists, you can have hands open, whatever it is, but this is internal rotation, like going into thumb down. This is external rotation, going thumb up, okay? So as you go thumb up, you can actually feel your shoulder blade scoop under you, like back behind here. So boom, you can feel it scoop and touch your rib cage a little bit, right? This thumb down, you should be able to feel, right? As you go as high as you can, your shoulder blade going up, and you should feel stretch. So you're gonna alternate them. One's gonna start down and one's gonna start up. Boom, boom. You're actually gonna go here, right? You're not shrugging at the top. You're just reaching as far as you can, and then scooping under with the other. Reaching far, scooping. Okay, so that's gonna help warm up our shoulder blades a little bit and get it moving before we start playing. Now, I think that might have been the last of the dynamic warm-up there. Okay, so additional optional add-ons are at the bottom. For all the other groups, I didn't go over that because all the things we're doing pretty much catches all the body parts typically. But if you want me to go over any of those, and you can reach out to me directly, those are all really good. We're doing all those once we get to school. But that's just additional add-ons if you want to put in that extra work and get as much out as you can during this off season, because this is the best time to really work out and do your thing before you get too busy. Okay. Cool down stretch. So the half kneeling hip series, 4 parts. Just think of cool down stretch. We're doing holding stretches now, so we're not moving through it anymore. So half kneeling hip series. Thumbs up if the guys that were here earlier remember that over there. Do you guys remember or no? No, I know Dale probably won't. Nope. Okay, so the first part, you're obviously going to go back to the beginning of the video and watch this. But it's the one where first part would be here. Second part would be here. Third part and fourth part. You guys remember that now? Yeah. So instead of pulsing, we're pretty much holding the stretch. We're holding the stretch, holding it, and holding it back. Okay, so that's the difference from cool down and the warm up. So that's the first part, the 4-part hip series. Second part here, we're looking at child's pose. So you're pretty much getting your knees, you'll sit your hips back, you just kind of relax. Walk your hands out all the way in front of you. Boom. And then you walk, and then you're gonna hold that stretch, deep belly breathing, right? Reach as far as you can, walk it out. Try to expand the ribcage each breath. Then you'll see the next one, child's pose walkovers, right? So you're gonna walk your hands to the side. You're gonna sit and hold this stretch here. Okay, so we're gonna feel that stretch all along here, one side. After a couple of breaths, we're gonna go to the other side. We're gonna hold this stretch on this side, and you'll feel everything open up on this side. Okay, thumb up if that's good for you. Nice. So it's a good thing you guys can go back and watch this recording too. I know a lot of people took notes before and they were able to get through it. And some have hit me up for questions, so feel free to do that if the videos don't help. Okay, so you'll notice all these things kind of flow together in each position. So after that, pigeon stretch, pretty standard. One leg back, one leg through, sit tall, sink back, stretch the hips. Thumb up if we're good there. Nice. Then we'll switch. Now, sideline quad stretch. So we always want to make sure that we're not just kind of sitting back like a lot of people do for this quad stretch. Okay. So that puts your knee in a vulnerable position. So what's going to happen is we're just going to lay down to our side, grab the top leg, make sure the knee's pointing straight down. We're holding this stretch here. Okay. Try not to arch your back to get more of a stretch. Tuck it under, pull, knees pointing straight down. Okay, it's a lot safer than the other ones. Thumb up if we're good there. Nice. Supine hamstring stretch. Supine, when you guys go back and watch this, supine means I'm on my back typically. So you put one leg up, you can dorsiflex the ankle if you want a deeper stretch, but you can extend a few times, right? It's a lot easier if my ankle's not dorsiflexed, my leg can go more straight, but if it's extended or dorsiflexed, makes it tough. I'll get a deeper stretch. You can even hold it here. And in that hold, you can move your ankle up and down to change that difficulty. And you can switch sides. Okay. Wall calf stretch and Achilles stretch. You basically walk, stand against a wall. The ball of your feet is on the wall, heels down. And you would walk forward, right, to intensify the stretch. So you would hold this stretch to stretch the calves. Then after however long, I'll step in the light more. So how you can take this stretch away from the calves and go directly into your Achilles is actually you're going to take that leg that's being stretched and you're going to slightly bend it forward towards the wall. Okay. By bending it towards the wall, you'll actually feel it completely shoot down into your Achilles and stay away from your calves. And then you'll switch sides. That might feel a little bit awkward if you never stretched your Achilles before, but so ease into it. Thumb up if we're good there. We're almost to the workout now. Nice. Okay, wall pec stretch. I mean, you can walk up to a doorway, have your hands up against the wall, lean into it, get a stretch in your pec. A lot of us have done it before. Just make sure shoulders are down and back. First one, high position. So pretty much a Y position, like you're swinging, you're contacting, so shoulders down and back, press, turn away. Next one, neutral position, you're just here, turn away. Low position, putting down, turn away and stretch, and you get both sides. Okay. Cross body shoulder stretch. We've done this before. Boom. Hold these here. Okay. Biggest tip for this, don't just pull across and hold it. Your shoulder wants to pull and retract back like you're doing a row. So you're actually pulling back as you pull with this arm, and that's how you get more of a stretch out of it. A lot of times if you're just pulling across, you won't get a whole lot. So a little fun fact there. Overhead tricep stretch. We've definitely done this before, ever since we were kids. Don't try to get more range by extending your back. Keep it tucked nice and tight and hold it, and you'll get a deeper stretch. Okay, and then one arm behind neck stretch. We like to do this as well. So if I'm stretching this side of my neck, I would just take this arm, make a fist, put it behind. Other hand just holds the wrist. So what's gonna happen, I'm just gonna pull down. You can see me pull down. And now that I'm tucked in, I'm just gonna tilt my head, get a stretch. I can turn my head away, turn my head here, just kind of explore whatever you guys want. If you're sitting in a chair, you can hold the bottom side of your chair and just pull away and go through stretch as well, right, wherever you're sitting at. Okay. So obviously, optional add-ons again. We're not going to go through it. If you want to go through it on the side, go ahead and message me. Let me know. But that's it there. Anybody have anything to say about these? Obviously, you can go back and watch the recording, but thumbs up for me if we're all good, and we'll go to the workouts now. Or if you need to ask a question right now, go ahead. Oh, good. Morning, Mark. Miss you, buddy. Okay, so we're on day one now. For the squats, you guys can wear a backpack or hold a backpack however you want, just to add more weight. But just 3 sets, 12 reps there. How the workouts go is, if you look at day one, there's 3 groupings of exercises, right? So first group has 3 exercises, second group has 3, third has 3. What's going to happen is you'll focus on just the one. So you would go first, second, third of that first grouping for the set 1. You'd come back to the top, do it again, come back to the top, do it again. Then you're done with that first group. Get to the second, same thing. So it's almost like a superset. Okay. Third grouping of exercise, you go through all three, come back to the top, go again, go again. Okay. Does that make sense for you guys? Yep. Nice. Okay, so first one, squats, nice and simple. A lot of people have trouble figuring out squats. Actually, it's one of the most complicated movements. So like I said earlier, if you have bad ankle mobility, let's say you have bad hip something, then you have to understand that not everybody squats the same, right? So I know people and have athletes who squat like this. Their natural squat looks like this and it looks perfect and they can go all the way around and back up. Some people's squats have to look like this with their toes turned out, some forward, some here, right? And how you figure that out is you just need to play around with it. So an example that you'll see is, let's say for myself, right? And sit to a squat, sit nice and tall. I can't do this typically with my feet as narrow if I was a taller person. And let's say my femur, which is this bone, let's say it's really long, right? Imagine I'm here, it's really long. So that means my body weight is way behind, okay? So if I got into a squat, I would pretty much want to fall backwards all the time, right? And people do get that way. So it's either hip, ankles, or their bones are different. So how I'll do that is I have to shorten that leg, okay? Meaning instead of staying here where that's full length, I can walk my feet out and turn my legs, okay? So if I'm here, turning my legs, now going to squat, you'll see that my leg looks shorter actually, and I shortened that moment arm, they would call it. Okay, so yes, I would get a little bit wider, but now I'm in a much stronger position. Little sciencey there, but I hope that makes sense for you guys. It basically comes down to, I need to figure out my own squat position because nobody's squatting the same. So somebody tells you, hey, feet closer, feet pointing forward, you have to do this, you have to do that. That's actually not true. Okay. Awesome. Nice. So the next one, alternating plank opposite reaches. Typical elbow plank here. Make sure almost all of your ab workouts, if you feel like, untuck this. If you feel like a lot of times your hips just get really tired from your ab workouts, it's because you probably didn't tuck that pelvis under to get the abs working. Okay. So if you're doing planks and your back kind of looks like this, right? That's actually not good for your low back and you're not really tearing your abs. So what's going to happen is you're going to pop up, you're going to tuck that under, right? Like I said, that bucket of water. If I'm here, water spills forward. If I do too much, water spills behind. I need to be just level. Okay, so it's super important to learn how to move this hip here. So you're going to hold this plank position, and opposite reaches means I'm just going to lift one leg off the ground a bit, right? Opposite arm is just going to reach forward, flatten out the body, come back. Reach, come back. Notice, biggest goal, reach forward, try to stay stable. I'm not trying to rotate my hips, right? Because then that defeats the purpose. Now it's way too easy, and I'm just balancing. Okay, so tucked under, reach, reach. Okay, and then next one, single arm bent over row. Doesn't matter what you have in front of you, but you can just stand, pretty neutral position. You have your backpack or dumbbell. If you have or duffel bag, if you have a dumbbell, great. You're just gonna fill it up with textbooks, whatever you have that's heavy. You're just gonna hold it, and then you're gonna pull. Okay, I'm gonna tilt this really quick, go over some details. So,
hey Chris, I have a question.
Here. Yes, sir.
Can I use a resistant band instead of weights if I don't have that, or if I have a resistant band too? Like
yeah, you can use a resistance band. Try to make it like thick or make it heavier.
Yeah.
I think there might be a few in here that you are going to be using resistance band, but yeah, definitely. As long as it's heavy and challenging.
Yeah.
Yep. We're good with that.
Cool. Got you.
Nice. Okay. So there's a few parts to pulling. If you're just pulling like this is actually wrong. Okay. So notice what position I'm in. My shoulder's rounding forward if I get to here. Okay. So there's actually 4 parts when you pull something. Your scaps. Remember I said you have to move your scaps by themselves. So first part, you're going to hold the weight or whatever it is. I'm going to tuck. I'm going to pull, come back, release. Pull, pull, release, release. You see those 4 parts right there, right? So biggest thing is just to make sure my scap is pulling back as I row and I go forward. Otherwise, you're basically doing a bicep curl from a different angle, right? If you don't do that, because you're not really contracting your back, you're just kind of pulling it up there, right? Getting from point A to point B without purpose. So that's a huge thing there for rows. A lot of people get it wrong. Let me pull this up and just exited. Thumbs up for me if that was all clear with you. Awesome. Okay, half kneeling overhead swing arm press. So that one, half kneeling position here. Okay, back foot is down, legs flat. Tucking my glutes, I'm nice and tight. Tight through here, so I'm not tucking, right? I just want to be right, nice and neutral. So I'm gonna hold a weight. Like I said, if you can fill up a backpack, that'd be great. You know, hold it here. It's gonna hang to the side, abs tight. You're just gonna rotate your fist as you press overhead. So pressing, finish. Okay, biggest thing here, try not to lose balance, so your abs have to turn on. Don't extend to get more range overhead. That doesn't help. So tucks tight, pressing here, come back down. And like I said, you're gonna feel your abs turn on and work in almost everything you do, right? If you do it right. So press overhead, tight, come back down. Then when you switch, just make sure it's opposite arm leg. Press here. You might feel yourself kind of wobble, right? If you've never done this before, and try to extend. Hope we went over all the cues there. That we good with that one? Yep. Okay. Next one, split squats. Super easy. You're holding yourself, right? You'll step back, hold yourself in like a lunge position. Weights on either side, right? You're just gonna go straight down, straight up. Okay. Knees don't buckle, stays nice and firm. A lot of people actually get unbalanced as they go through this. These things, it starts with your feet. So if you can think of your feet as a tripod, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So your big toe, little toe, and your heel. So you want to be able to spread your toes to start off and then grip the ground. Try to turn on the arches of your feet, right? So we set up that tripod. That's going to help us stabilize a little bit more, right? Because we're technically natural born monkeys, right? We're supposed to grip and claw off the ground. So a lot of people have ankle issues, a lot of people have feet issues, and it turns into knee issues and hip issues. It's because they're walking flat-footed, or when they land on that one leg when they hit, it's not really stable. So we need to make sure that we spread toes, boom, press, grip the ground. If my arch is flat, you'll see this little movement here. It collapses, right? You can see just a little bit collapse. So if they're activated, I'm actually rotate out just a little bit. I'm gonna hold myself in this position. I'm gonna go through my split squat and come here, all right? If I'm flat arched, it'll look more like this. Comes in a bit, okay? So arches are strong, tripod set. Next one, alternating ab pike reaches. Lay on your back. Abs tight, low back kept to the ground, right? So we're not here, we're actually tucked, okay? So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go opposite arm leg. I'm reaching up forward towards the ceiling, touching my feet. Boom, back, come back. I don't come back and extend my back. I don't wanna lose tension here, okay? So keep that tight, touch, touch. Okay, nice and easy there. So that's the second grouping. Thumbs up if we're good. Nice. Third grouping here, lateral hop to stick, nice and easy. You're gonna start off with both legs. You're gonna hop to the side, land on the outside leg only. So here, hop, stick the landing. Reset, hop, land, reset. So notice as I go, try not to lose balance here. My knees aren't caving. Hop into the side, nice and soft landing. I'm landing toe to heel, okay? Toe to heel, stabilize, feet don't collapse, okay? So those are two huge mechanics of proper landing. Toe to heel, arches try not to collapse. Once you get there, grip the ground so we don't fall in, right? Grip the ground, boom, stick. Reset both, jump, stick. So a way to make this harder, you can start off by going more distance, right? Or you can start going more height. Right, the height makes it harder. Then once you progress those, you can add both distance and height. Okay, thumb up if we're good there. Nice. Okay, band pull apart or rear deltoid fly. If you have a band, you can stand, right? You can stand up, shoulders down and back, and you're just gonna pull apart here. Okay, make sure your abs are set again, your pelvis is set, shoulders down and back, pull. If you have dumbbells, right, you'll stand bent over and you'll pull across like a T. Okay, those are pretty basic ones there. Where are we at? Okay, wall sit, overhead shoulder mobility reaches. Jonathan actually put this on his story the other day or last week. So imagine I'm doing a wall sit. So obviously I'm not on a wall sit right now. But imagine I'm kind of doing a wall sit, right? My back is against the wall. Now my hands are gonna go out to the side like this, okay? So my back, from the back of my head all the way down to my hips should be in contact with the wall. My palms and my elbows, my shoulders should be in contact with the wall. All that's gonna happen while I'm there, I'm just gonna press up as high as I possibly can and come back down, okay? So the hard part of that is when people don't have shoulder mobility, they'll get exposed. So as you press overhead, if you start arching your back just to get up there, then you know that you're out of your range. So work within your range, and eventually the goal is to get as high as you can without extending, okay? So a lot of people can keep the abs tight and go overhead. Awesome. Some people have to extend just to get up there, right? In Johnny's video, actually, once he gets to about here, he has to extend pretty hard because he doesn't have that much range. Okay, so that's one of his goals right now that he's telling me. The better we can get more shoulder movement and extend, the less shoulder issues we'll have as hitters, right, over the course of the season. Right, so we're just pressing up, coming back down, keeping contact with our arms, back of the hands, elbows, shoulders. Then from head, upper and lower back to the hips, we're contacting the wall. Okay, we're about to go through day 2. We're almost done here. Are we good? Awesome. Okay.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to have to get going here pretty soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Work is calling.
Yep, no worries. So isometric hip thrust marches. So you can basically use a couch of some sort, right? I'm using a leg rest from a couch. I would set up here, elbows up, get into this hip thrust position. Notice my abs are kept tight so that I'm flat, right? If my abs aren't tight, I would look like I'm arching my back through here. So we don't want that. So pelvis is tucked under, abs are tight. Boom, now I'm set, 90 degrees at the legs. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna march, which means I'm gonna kick one leg straight. This leg would stabilize, come back down, right? Kick, stabilize, come back down. You can keep your toes off the ground to make it challenging and have your glutes turn on. This is all for your glutes and your hamstrings. Okay, this is pretty challenging here, especially if you can throw on a weight. But what's gonna happen is as I kick forward, I'm not rocking to one side or another to get balance. I have to stay square with my hips to the ceiling. Boom, switch, switch. Abs tight the whole time. Okay. Now 8-point plank here. 8-point plank, like I told the other guys and girls, honestly, probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest ab exercises you could possibly do. Okay, and you're gonna be the ones challenging yourself. So knees are set. So let me move this more. So feet down, knees are set behind your hips to start. You're gonna go down on your elbows. Elbows start in front of your body. Okay, so you're gonna tuck your hips. Like I talked about, that's how you can get more ab activation. Now from here, move it an angle now that you know how it's set up. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna think about while I'm there, I'm pulling on the ground. I'm not actually gonna move my hand, but I'm gonna pull as hard as I can towards my knees, and my knees and my feet are gonna try to drive up towards my elbows. So everything comes to the middle. So if you start on the ground here, a lot of us start right here. And then once we look at the time, I put us for 30 seconds. You're gonna pop up, right? Even just holding this is very tough. I haven't even started pulling yet. Once I do start pulling everything in the middle, it's tucked. I'm gonna pull as hard as I possibly can. And you hold for 30 seconds. So you would control that, right? You control the intensity. A lot of athletes I've walked around to, it's like if I can have a conversation with you, you're probably not pulling as hard as you can. So that one's extremely tough. You should be shaking and trembling, and you shouldn't be able to have a conversation with people, okay? So that's a really tough one there. Almost every athlete I've had. Loves and hates those. Okay, thumb up on that one. That one's a little bit confusing on the setup, but you can tell it's pretty tough as you're pulling and dragging everything. Okay, make sure that pelvis is tucked. What do we have next? Def drop to stick. So basically, imagine I am standing on some sort of a stool or box, right? Imagine I'm standing on top right now. I'm just gonna come off and land on the ground in front of me. So I'm on the box ready. I can take a little hop off, right? So one leg will start out, hands will start out. I will hop off the box, land in a squat position, reset, come back up, leg out, boom. Notice knees in line with my feet, knees don't cave, nice and level. Side view, I'm tall, right? I'm not hunched over on the landing, I'm tall here and sticking it. The biggest thing is to be able to go up and down, right? Come off the box, boom, toe to heel so that I don't make any noise, right? So that's how I'm gonna make sure that I'm landing quietly and it's good for my joints. So you can see I put 3 each. You would lead with one leg 3 times, lead with the other leg 3 times. Okay. Next one, RDLs. A lot of people have done this. Just make sure for here, quick tips, keep the knees slightly bent as you go down, right? You wanna keep your back flat. Let's see. Okay. So you wanna keep your back flat as you go down. Some people can only get to about here and they start rounding, right? It happens all the time. I've seen athletes like that. Some people, let's say for myself, I can get pretty low with my back still flat. So it's kind of up to you. Getting to about halfway down your shins is all you need. So from here, shoulders down and back, abs are set. So I don't look like I'm extending like this as I'm going down because that's going to hurt my back, right? And then if I am rounded as I go, I'm going to hurt my back as well. So big thing there, I'm always going to talk about it, setting your hips, okay? Set the hips as I go down, nice and flat. There's a natural curve in my spine. I'm good to go. Keep the weight close to my body. I'm going to come up, right? So attacking the hamstrings. 2 cues here. If I'm standing behind you and I have a string around your waist, and I'm going to pull you back to get you back there. So I'm sitting my weight into my heel a little bit more, right? Compared to on my toes and try to go down. So I'm pulling the string towards the back wall, get your hips back, and or I'm trying to close the car door, right? Open the car door, get out, try to close the car door. Okay, so 2 simple cues there. Eccentric push-ups. So there's usually tempos next to things I put every once in a while. So the first number 3 there, I can explain the other 3 next time, but basically get in a push-up position. Eccentric means slow and controlled, right? So for fun, 3 types of muscle contractions. So if I'm taking a bicep curl, right? If the muscle's shortening as I'm pulling, right, it shortens, then that's a concentric contraction. If it's lengthening as I'm slowing a weight down, that's an eccentric contraction. I'm in control. I'm in control of weight. So if I threw you 60-pound dumbbell and I told you, like, hey, Mark and Charles, you're going to slow this as much as you can. Don't let it just fall. So I'm going to let it go, and you're just really controlling it and shaking on your way down, right? It's just, it's like overload. So that's an eccentric contraction. There's still contraction happening, but it's lengthening. Then isometric contraction, I'm holding it in place, no change in length. Okay, so eccentric contraction, eccentric push-ups means I'm gonna be here, 3 counts on the way down for that one. So it would be 1, 2, 3. You can reset coming off your knees. I don't care about the push. Just worry about the control on the way down. Okay, eccentric based workouts are actually where you find most growth and soreness in your workouts. So the more you can slow down the tempos of your exercise, that's where you actually see a lot of people who are physically pretty fit. They're doing a lot of eccentric stuff, okay? Because that's more time under tension and more stress for the muscle to force to grow. Okay, so big tips too, when you're in push-up position, make sure shoulders are down and back, right? So side view, shoulders are down and back. If you're here, or if some people, they wing, you see how my scaps pop out, right? We don't want that. We want to be down and back. Now we're flat in a stable position, okay? And when you go and finish, I'm gonna put my feet somewhere back here. You wanna be able to come to right here. Notice when I hold that position, I'm here. So from my elbows to my forehead, I should be able to draw a triangle, right? So if you're doing a push-up from up here, it's really stressful for the shoulder. You need to be down here, shoulders down and back, and pushing through, right? Because if you're, let's say, you get into some sort of scuffle with somebody, and you get angry, and you push somebody, I mean, naturally, you're not going to walk up to them and push them from here, right? You're probably going to get down low, load up, and you're probably going to push through there. Does it make sense? So naturally, we need to push through this bottom position. So think about your push-ups that way. Where are we at? Side plank glute iso hold. Side plank here. You're gonna bend both knees, right? And then your feet are gonna point at the wall behind you. You'll get into the side plank on your elbow. Now what's gonna happen is this is an ab and a glute workout. So you're gonna get your hand up. You're gonna push your knees into your ground, get the hips to the ceiling. Then from here, abs are turned on. Now you're gonna open up the top leg like a clamshell. You're gonna push even harder with the bottom leg, right? So this right here, you wanna try to stay pretty vertical, everything facing forward. My glutes are turned on and my abs are turned on, okay? Eventually we're gonna have a mini band around our knees. So we're actually gonna do either these right here as well, or just hold it, right? Extremely tough, pretty good start to just go body weight like this, okay? Thumbs up if we're good so far. I know I'm trying to blaze through this, trying to get you guys across to your day. Single leg glute bridge, nice and easy, guys. Hands flat, feet up, toe up. We're just gonna drive, come down, drive. Get the glutes firing. Make sure abs are tight and tucked, right? Low back kept to the ground. Sometimes it makes it a smaller movement, but it's necessary because we don't want to come up and extend our back, okay? That doesn't help and it's not good for us. Okay, dead bug opposite compression. Should have brought one, but you can use a volleyball for this. You guys have volleyballs? I'm pretty sure. I know some people don't. Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna lay on your back, feet up like this. Typical dead bug position. Hands up, feet up, and it would look like opposite arm leg, right? Typical dead bug right here. Low back kept to the ground. That's what makes it harder. Even body weight. Okay, that low back thing is huge. If you have like $1 million under there, I shouldn't be able to pull it from you. That's how tight I want you to keep it to the ground. Okay, an example is a lot of people do this exercise right here. We have it under, they put it under their glutes, their legs are out and they hold it for time. Then sometimes they get up and their back starts hurting, hip starts getting tight. It's because their low back wasn't pressed to the ground and abs are engaged. Okay, so now for an actual dead bug opposite compression, you're gonna have a volleyball. Okay, you're gonna sit back, you're gonna take the volleyball, press it into one knee, and the opposite arm is pressing as well. So what's gonna happen is these two limbs are gonna go for your reps. But what's happening here is this knee and this hand are trying to press as hard as it can at the same time, trying to pop that ball. Okay, so that's extremely hard already. Trying to pop that thing, it turns on your abs. And then that's 1 rep, 2 reps. You'll go up to 10, I think I put, but really try to put pressure as hard as you can there and low back to the ground. Okay, don't be surprised if you start shaking like crazy. So you'll go however many reps. You're gonna switch arms, switch legs, try to pop as hard as you can. Go through movement with opposite limbs, and then that's it right there. Okay, and then last one, single arm overhead dynamic scap stability circles on wall. So you're gonna use a volleyball for this as well. You're gonna stand up, and you're gonna go up against a wall. So imagine a wall is in front of me. I'm not trying to lean into the wall with my body weight, okay? I'm just gonna set up just kind of far away. Wall's in front. I'm gonna press, I'm gonna move back. I'm gonna press as hard as I can into the ball. Try to flatten it into the wall. So now that I've kind of put that in your head, so imagine I'm here now, right? Pressing as hard as I can. I'm gonna go a little wax on, wax off. So you're gonna go circles right here with the ball 10 times, then circles here 10 times, then you're gonna switch. That's all it is, right? And you can just tell, as long as I'm pressing as hard as I can with my arm, I can feel it now. Like even just tensing right here, all the muscles in my shoulder blade and my scaps are turning on the way it should. Okay, so pressing hard, creating overhead stability, because it's really important, right? We're gonna be hitting balls all year. Everybody on the beach team, right? So blockers and defenders. So we make sure these are strong. Switch arms, same thing. You'll know you're doing it wrong, right? The moment you get lazy and start leaning into it with your body weight. That's not what we want out of that. All right, day 2 done. Thumbs up for me if we're good there. We're going to day 3. Awesome. Okay. Supine hamstring walkouts. Like I said, supine, you're on your back. Starting off in the glute bridge position. Okay, biggest goal, don't let the hips drop and don't let them rotate. Okay, abs tight, hands to the side. Just take little small choppy steps all the way until you're flat, right? Hips still stay off. Abs still stay tight so you're flat through here. You aren't extending the back. Make your way back. Walk yourself back down. Okay, so there and back will count as 1 rep. Any questions there? Nope. Mountain climbers, super easy. We've done this before. Just 2 things, 3 things. Hands under the shoulders at all times. People forget that and they have their hands in front. So hands under the shoulders, glutes tight and tucked, right? So abs have to be tucked. So for me, when I see the mountain climbers all the time in college, playing and whatnot, I used to, we did so many mountain climbers and never got the reason for it. And that's because I probably didn't do it right? So I didn't learn to, nobody told me to tuck my abs, nobody told me to do it right. Honestly, the coaches probably didn't know that. So it felt like a waste of time. But now that I'm finally knowing how to do these properly, I actually do feel my abs kind of on fire as they go through these, okay? So as long as I'm doing it right, you really feel it. So hands on the shoulders, remember down and back, right? In a good position, up, abs tucked. Now I'm just gonna run my legs and I'm gonna think max tension. So I'm keeping my abs nice and tight and I'm still tucked. So a lot of people, they sit back when they get lazy, hands go in front of the shoulder and they extend their back and then it doesn't feel really good anymore, okay? So here, tucked, running my legs, don't let the hips rotate and don't sag at the hips. Okay, so some pretty good key pointers there for you guys. Next one, Blackburns. Oh. Okay, so I'm just here. I'll move back. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have my thumb up like this for both hands, palms open. I'm just gonna look at the ground, lift my arm as high as I can. Off the ground, I'm gonna go around slow, come back. I'm gonna come back here and I can relax, okay? If you wanna go without relaxing between, that's fine, but that would count as 1 rep right there. So as high as I can, boom, come back, go, come back, okay? It's a lot better when we don't touch the ground, right? It makes it a lot harder. If you make it hard, you can hold little weights, maybe 2 water bottles is honestly already gonna make it tough. Like body weight is already tough with that because you're thinking max tension. I'm holding as high as I possibly can. So I'm maximally contracting that. So the moment it just kind of droops and I'm hovering, it's not hard anymore. Something that would help you, if you need, maybe put up some water bottles, yoga blocks, I don't know, volleyball or something. If you have some, just try to avoid it, right, the whole time. So there and back counts as 1. Those are called Blackburns. Okay, eccentric squats. Very self-explanatory. That's 5 counts on the way down. So wear a backpack, hold a weight, whatever you have. Setting up, it would be a true 5 seconds. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stand back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stand back up. Okay, nice and easy there. Tall sitting, single arm shoulder press. So dumbbell, backpack, whatever you have. Boom. I'm just gonna put my legs so you can see. But you'll have your legs straight. We'll start here. Abs tight. I'm just gonna press, rotate overhead, come back down. Okay. Side view, legs straight, abs tight. I'm not sagging as I press, but I'm sitting tall. So here, boom. Right, and then you'll switch sides. Single arm or single leg RDL reaches to knee drive. So you won't really need to see my upper body for this, but from here, I'm gonna go single leg. I'm gonna set up my tripod. Remember that, my feet, my tripod, big toe, little toe, heel. I'm gonna start here, kicking back, reaching, right? And I'm gonna come up, knee drive. Just working on balance here. Boom, and a little bit of hamstring. So once you feel that stretching, you come up, we're actually working the hamstrings as well. A lot of people do get sore from this. Reach, tabletop, nice and flat, slow and controlled here, right? If you go through this and my knees start caving, kind of check yourself, see what's happening with your feet. Because if my knees are starting to wiggle around, then that means my ankle and my feet, right, my base of support is not set properly. So if I'm wiggling, right, some people wiggle all the time. And when I look down, I tell them to take off their shoes, you can tell their arches are flat. So spread your toes, grip the ground, set the arches, boom, I'm going, nice and stable, come up, squeeze. Switch the legs after. Okay, thumbs up if that makes sense. We're about to go to our last section here. Perfect. Okay, elevated side plank dips. I would recommend use a couch of some sort. So I'm gonna use this again. Plank here. I'm gonna set up my feet, stack them on top of each other, hands up. I'm gonna dip down, boom, dip. It's like I'm doing a side crunch, but with my legs on the couch. Okay, so one thing here only, make sure to press down and away. I don't want to sag at the shoulder. So holding vertical down and away. I'm actually gonna rotate a little bit, okay? Because if I go here and I extend, I feel a little bit in my obliques, but I do feel my low back, right? Because it's still contracting that. So actually if I rotate a little bit, boom, extend. Now I feel like I'm crunching a bit here, okay? So boom, flex, flex. That's a really underrated one. And that'll get you breathing pretty hard. Any questions there? Nope. Okay. So lateral shoulder raises, pretty easy. Everybody's kind of done this before. You would stand up nice and tall. You bring your arm up to the side, bring it back down. You won't bring it over the height of your shoulders. So you don't need to go any higher. You will come up and down. One big cue for this, or two actually, shoulders down and back always, anytime you do any shoulder stability exercises. And we actually want to start about 15 degrees away. So this first 15 degrees here, nothing's really happening, right? Your subscaps are going to turn on at about 15 degrees. You don't need to know that, but just so you know what I'm trying to say. So this part here, we have to start, we'll come out, we'll come back down here. Okay, because this range right here, everything's turned off, right? There's no constant tension, and I want constant tension. Okay, so Charles, if you don't have dumbbells, you can step on your band, do whatever you want. If you need to step on one and just do one side only, up to you. But yeah. So does that make sense for you guys right there? Okay, we're gonna go through the last one and fix my neck glutes here. Okay, last thing, half kneeling swing arm shoulder circumductions. So just like shoulder cars that we went over, Charles, cars, Mark is basically controlled articular rotations. We're working on shoulder mobility. Biggest thing basically is keeping my hips level. We talked about this a lot, and I want you to know this for sure, Mark, and everybody that's gonna watch this video. A lot of our national team athletes and Olympians, they actually work out with their shirt tucked in, and there's a reason. And sometimes they wear discolored colors, so they would wear a different one because they want to be see their waistline whenever they lift. So all of a sudden we need to keep our hips stacked, right? So if I have water in here, it's not going to spill. So this is a stacked position, right? Good posture, shoulders down and back, abs are tight, right? Almost throughout the day, I'm keeping my abs tight, or they've naturally gotten to a point where they just stay pretty tense and tight. Because if they're not, typically they look like this, right? A lot of girls stand like this, okay? We call it Instagram booty, so they know what we're talking about. If it's like this naturally, then low back's tight, hips are tight, abs are weak. So now if I try to do too much and I round, right? Now I'm tucked, water spills behind, not good. Extended, water spills forward. So I always want to be neutral in everything I do. Okay, so that's huge. Now, shoulder cars, we basically had a fist tight, Mark, and you would go in a big shoulder circle going back and around. You're trying to get as close as your head and body as you possibly can, coming around this whole thing while keeping your abs tight. So it's super hard. You get in here, I'm struggling because I want to keep this tight as well. If you don't keep it tight, you're going to rotate, you're going to extend. We want to avoid that. So you can stand and do that. We typically do that for all of our practices. Half kneeling circumductions, knee is up, and imagine this border. You can do this with cars as well to help make it hard, but these half kneeling ones, you're always going to do it next to a wall, right? So imagine I'm next to a wall. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm actually going to have my hands on the wall for this. So circumductions, hands are flat, and I can run it around the wall as best as I can.
making my whole way around. Okay, this inside knee has to be up, because if this knee is up, it makes it really hard for me to rotate. I can't rotate anymore. If I do the wrong knee, it's really easy for me to open up. Okay, and that makes it way too easy to come around. So inside knee is up, that's next to the wall. I'm gonna go as far as I can without rotating, right? And I'm actually gonna go back that way. So boom, back, unless you just wanna relax, reset your arm, reset again. So you would go boom, right? If you're really close, you can go around the whole way with minimal pressing into a wall, then that's great. If it's too hard, right, you wanna move away from the wall. Okay, if you wanna make it harder, move closer. So that's it. I guess a quick tip too for ankle dorsiflexions. If this was a wall, right, and I can go as far as I can and touch it without my heel coming off, right? Then if I want to make it harder, then I just move back. Push down as hard as I can to the wall, right? My heel came off just a little bit, so that's not good. It's not what I want. I would walk my feet forward a bit, try to challenge it, right? We're trying to get this ankle mobility and this angle to get smaller and smaller and smaller, right? That's going to help us run faster, jump higher, move better, right? So it's super, super important. You can use that wall wherever you're at home and practice with that. If not, like I said, grip the heel, go as far as you can up and down. Make sure we go forward with it. We go sideways, we go inside. If we go forward, nice and easy. If you go to the outside, your foot is going to naturally want to open up, right, off the ground. So big toe down, go out. If I'm going inside, my foot naturally wants to cave, right? My arch is closed. I don't want that. So I'm going to set my arches up, go as far as I can without letting it drop down, and that's it. Okay, so that's it from my end. Charles, Mark, I think you guys are the only ones on besides Kenny. Do you have any questions for me? I know it's obviously a lot of information, but you can tell it's super like basic stuff, really necessary. And it's pretty challenging once you go through it on your own with bodyweight. A lot of people have been texting me about it, and they said it's really tough. So these are all good things. It's going to set us up for our lifts in the actual weight room pretty soon.
Do we have to watch a video for these, or are you guys giving us the list, or do we have the list that I don't know about?
So I think for sure you are in the men's beach group chat. Kenny can probably just send you a text or myself really quick to have a notification. Unless, do you have a same number, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll send it. It should be in the group chat. I'm pretty sure you're in it. And it came in a PDF. Yeah, it came in a PDF file. So either I can send it again, or you just go up to the group chat name, boom, press the I, and it should pop up any pictures or videos that has been sent in the chat. It should be at the bottom. I have to scroll down every time to find it once my phone locked. And that's it. You can go like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday with this. It's a 3-day program. So yeah, that's it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Make sure to kind of superset each of the groups and focus on just the one group. So A's, B's, and C's, let's say. Just focus on one at a time. Next one, we might throw in some sort of conditioning in there. It's not going to be tough, but it's going to be something to start out with. But right now, I just want everybody to go through this for maybe 5 weeks. First week is going to be a lot of just learning. And then the next 4 weeks you should be good to go. And that's really it. If you're going to write in your weights or whatever you're using, then maybe do it in pencil or whatever so that you can erase and go, or have different color pens as you go through weeks. And this format of the workout isn't the same one we're going to use. So this one's really easy to look at. It's made super simple. But the one we're going to have during season, it's just a bunch of grids and numbers. It looks like something straight out of the Matrix. So, but it compacts all the days into your one page that you can carry with you. It'll be easy once I go over it. But that's it for me. Charles, do you have anything?
No, that's it. I pretty much got everything.
Awesome. Sounds good. Go ahead and get started on it whenever you guys can. That's it for me. Kenny, do you have anything?
I don't have anything, but I think I said it in the group chat. Just try to, when you're doing these workouts or doing any exercise, just try to tag it on the story, just on your Instagram story, just so we have something to reshare. Because we're just trying to grow our program, and it's pretty good exposure when you guys post on your stories. But that's kind of all I have. That's the only way we can kind of keep track of who's doing what. We trust that you guys are wanting to do it, but that's kind of all on my end. Any other
Sweet.
questions
Sounds good.
regarding anything else?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Okay.
Yep.